Welcome back, everyone, to Laughamania! You enjoyed the break? Give a quick round of applause for you. Jerry C for the second half. Grace Lynn!
Thank you. Sorry, I'm terrible at keeping the time. Good thing Rowan's here, huh? Give it up for Rowan Grace, everybody, the man himself. All right. I'll just let you get back into your seats there. A little bit more about myself. I am a scientist. Some nerds in the corner. I like it. Yeah. So I'm an ecologist. That basically means a tree hugger with a job. Or as my parents call it, they're immigrants too, so they speak with an accent, so they say ecologist, not a lawyer or a doctor. So recently I was out doing fieldwork in Western Australia, and so I'm a bit of a hippie, and out in Western Australia you have these things called fire ants, and they're very aggressive. You guys heard of fire ants? Yeah, nasty. So they form these mounds, and if you step in it, well, I was finding that they were crawling up to my mound and defending their territory, which is very uncomfortable, but also once they got up here, they found an enemy they could not defeat. But that got logistically kind of difficult, because every 5 meters or so I was like pulling my pants down and like picking fire ants out of my pubes. And like, I'd just look down there and there'd just be hundreds of ants being like, help me! Help me! Yeah, it was last year was a really serious year for bushfires, both nationally and personally. So I got sick of that situation. So I was in the middle of nowhere, and I drove to the nearest town of Geraldton, 3 hours away. I was living in a van for 3 months, so things were not so fresh. So this poor beautician was just looking down at my crotch, and has anyone seen Spirited Away? Yeah? You know the soot spirits?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're just basically like a black solid mass with little eyeballs. That's what my mound looks like. It was just like a solid black mass looking back up at the beautician, and she was looking down at it being like, holy shit, do I have my hands full? And then I'm just kind of lying there kind of embarrassed, and then realize it's kind of quiet, and so the beautician is actually stuck down there being like, help me! Help me! She's probably still in there. I haven't seen her since. I hope she's happy. All right, speaking of bush, you guys ready to get some jungle fever? Because your next act comes from the deepest, densest jungles of central Queensland. Okay, like, I fucking love her, so you better, like, make some noise for Anissa Sanyu Nandola!
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Anissa Sanyu Nandola, and I'm not a refugee. The closest I've been to a refugee camp would probably have to be Ipswich. I actually have a sponsor child from Ipswich. His name is Davo. I saw him on one of those like little World Vision cards, and I was like, oh, he's got a durry. The only reason that I'm in Australia is because of my mother's courage, her dedication, and her Tinder profile. She was scrolling through Tinder in the heart of Kampala, just searching for that, how do you call it? Delicious vanilla. And she found some delicious Australian vanilla. And he went all the way to Africa and brought my family back to Australia. Like, his friends must have been like, So when you said you were bringing back souvenirs from Africa, we thought you meant like a magnet or a keychain. Not the Jamaican bobsled team. What the fuck, Mike? But my mom was dedicated. She's like, I am going to move my kids to the most accepting and multicultural part of Australia. And then she moved us to Rockhampton. Rockhampton is not diverse. And my mom said this to a guy in Woolies, and he's like, oh, yes it is. My son goes to school with a black boy. There he is! And I got so excited, I was like, ah. And then my brother comes walking down. And Rockhampton was like incredibly racist. Like one time I was driving in the car next to me, the guy was giving me the most disgusted look. And when we stopped at a red light, I turned over to look at him and I thought, how could someone hate black people this much? And when I turned back to look at my wheel, I realized I had been driving on the wrong side of the road. So it turns out he didn't hate me because I was black. He hated me because I was a dumb bitch. Which I like kind of prefer a little bit. So living with your mother when you're becoming a young adult is like super conflicting, right? Because it's like, you don't own me, but also, yes, I would love a hash brown. It's like a very conflicting feeling, especially when your mother's Muslim and she has very strong views. In Islam, a jinn is a devil. And my mother said, Anissa, if you continue to go to bed naked, a jinn will come and have sex with you. And I was like, oh no, but also... It's very conflicting. I think it would be awesome to have a Disney princess with saggy tits. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And she'd be like, what about a titty? And the prince would just be at the bottom. Don't bite your lip at that. He's getting turned on by saggy tits for princesses. He's just sitting there drinking his Coke like. Is this a Pornhub category? Where can I find it? This guy would just be at the bottom of the tower. He's the prince now, sorry. He'd just be at the bottom of the tower like... Don't, he keeps biting. Thank you. You guys have been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Nandala, everybody! Right. Are you ready for the complete opposite of her? Straight from the mean streets of Toowoomba, Stephen Denham!
Oh my god, Laughamania, running wild, brother. How you doing? Give it up for Greg, she's doing such a good job, you guys. But like, I did a show with her the other night where she was the MC and she had to introduce me, but she did like 10 straight minutes of very like feminist material, which cool, like I'm not just an ally, I'm a feminist, but it's like, she spent 10 minutes talking shit about the patriarchy, and then she's like, and your next act, the fucking patriarchy. Like, I don't know if the patriarchy has a face, but if it did. So, I got called a hipster recently. Yeah, right? Right? embarrassed, this imaginary person I made up for the joke. No, it upset me, guys. The record store had to give me the rest of the day off. I couldn't even finish my jar of artisanal home distilled gin. You know, the one with the rose petals in it? Was like still really, really agitated that night while I was practicing with my Simon and Garfunkel tribute band. We are called Simon and Garfunkel. And I'm just gonna say what the whole room is thinking. Yeah, fuck knuckle. I just don't understand why anyone would say that about me though. Like, look at me. I look like someone here tried to order a cowboy stripper. But like they accidentally did it on wish.com. You guys were really, really into Nisa, weren't you? I can tell. No, I love a lot of her jokes. I really want to like just blatantly steal them, but I can't because like, no, because she talked to her experience as a young African woman, right? On one hand, some people would say it's wrong to like steal something from another person's culture, but on the other hand, I am white. Stealing from other people's cultures is kind of my thing, you guys. I grew up in a town called Pittsworth. Has anyone heard of it? Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours west of here. Has a population of about 3,000 people from at least 6 different families, you guys. Growing up, I would always judge the success of the town by like how many video stores we had. Because like I'm a 90s kid, right? So like there was a point in the 90s where we had a video store and I'm like, all right, this is cool. Then we got a second video store and it's, oh yeah, the town's going really well. 2 video stores, great town, really healthy, on the way up. Then we lost one of the video stores. Bad times, Pittsworth, not doing well. It's a bad town, not going well. Now it's 2021, Pittsworth still has a video store. Not going well, you guys. It was one of those places that when I finished school, they actually like made me a little plaque. Stephen Denham, 12 years, 0 pregnancies. I wasn't responsible, I was just unfuckable, you guys. It was one of those really rough places where my report card, it didn't show my grades, it showed my win-loss record. Like, how'd you do in English, man, in high school? English.
No good.
No good? He said no good, that's how you know he did no good. I had a 7-3 record, 4 by knockout, 3 by teacher stoppage. No one believes that, do they? No one's like, yeah, this guy's won 7 fights in his life. We don't believe you, sir. I didn't have to fight, you see. I was a smart one. I was articulate. I let my words do the fighting. The other guys let their fists do the fighting. So maybe I'm not the smart one, you guys. You guys really liked Nisa, didn't you? I'm going to do something a little special for you guys because this is such a cool room. I've been working on this character. It's very, very new. You guys want a sneak preview? I was going to do it anyway, but thank you. So this character is a grizzled New York cop on his wedding day, okay? We are gathered here today to join Jasmine and Officer O'Hartigan in holy matrimony. I don't need a partner. I work better alone. Oh, whatever. You can kiss the bride. Stay out of my way, rookie. It's not my best joke, I'm aware of that. Like, it's cool that, like, we're starting to get our lives back, we're starting to get our weddings back. I'm really excited about that, not because I plan on getting married, not because, like, I'm even remotely close, just because the last wedding I was at, I made an absolute ass of myself and I'm looking to, like, redeem myself. Last wedding I was at, I had a bit of a misunderstanding with the wishing well. Do we know what the wishing well is, how it works? Okay, I'll make sure everyone's on the same page. Wishing well, little metal tub, put it in the corner. Everyone puts in money so the couple can pay for their honeymoon, pay for the extension on their deck, or pay for the unplanned pregnancy that brought us all there. Yeah, couple were upset at me because I put in a handwritten note saying, I wish Brad and Angelina were still married, you guys. Couple were not happy, but you know, they asked me to MC. Right guys, I'm Stephen Denham, thank you very much.
Stephen fuck knuckle, everybody! Right, I'm super excited to see our next biggest applause possible. Starting from this side of the room, go!
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Now, I know what you're all thinking. You're looking at me and thinking, this woman has a very tough life. And that's what qualifies me to talk about privilege. That's something, a topic that's been talked about a lot lately. And I was speaking with a girlfriend of mine who immigrated from Vietnam to Australia. And somehow it came up that I don't like mashed potato. And she said to me, well, that's really strange. I thought that was a very popular food in your culture and that everybody loved mashed potato. And so I said to her, well, when I was 5 years old, my mother would make me eat all my mashed potato and I couldn't leave the table until I did. And it used to get cold and, really chunky and awful, and I'd be sitting there gagging on it. And I said, anyway, as a consequence of that, since then, I don't eat any mashed foods. That's it. They just turn my stomach. And she said to me, well, that makes sense. I think I know what you mean. When I was 5 years old, we were in the middle of a famine after the American War. Of course they call it the American War. Why wouldn't they? I had never thought of that before. We were in a famine after the American War and we were starving, and my mother used to cook us grass. And I don't eat grass anymore either, so I understand where you're coming from. And it was at that time I realised that I was even more privileged than I realised. And a few years ago I did the ultimate privileged act and had a midlife crisis. Now I say it's a privilege because really you have to have a lot of privilege to even to be eligible to have a midlife crisis. I guarantee you that in South Sudan, journalists are not writing pieces entitled 10 signs that you might be encountering a midlife crisis. That is not the top of their headlines. And if they were writing those articles, you know who they'd be targeted at? 28-year-olds, because that's half their average life expectancy. I know, it's a bit dark, isn't it? So, there are a couple of things about my own midlife crisis that I'm very proud about. The first is that it was bang on time. My 4 grandparents' median age of death is 94, so I'm counting on getting through to 94. 47 is half of that. That's exactly when it hit me. There's something to be said for timeliness, I think. So that was the first thing that was good about my midlife crisis. The second thing I'm proud about is that I midlife crisised like an absolute champion. I went the whole hog. I did not get a convertible, but I'm not a man. So I think that's acceptable to have done it my own way. My marriage ended, and I confess I thought that as a moderately overweight and fairly average 47-year-old that online dating would not be kind to me. Well, let me tell you, I was very, very wrong. For all the women over 35 who've been off the market for a decade or so, there's been things happening while we've been busily partnered. The young men of Australia have been consuming voracious quantities of porn. And do you know what the number 1 search term is in Australia for porn? MILF. I got on Tinder and I swear I was swiping so crazily I got RSI. I was having a blast. I was having the time of my life. And I did a bit of, let's call it dating for a while. And then I wrapped up my midlife crisis by becoming engaged to a man who's 17 years my junior. I know, go me. And at that point I thought, okay, there's a bit of an age gap here, at the moment this is okay, but I'm gonna have to really up my relationship skills to keep this thing moving along happily. And so I've been spending a lot of time listening to a podcast by Dan Savage. He's from Seattle. He's quite famous. He does sex and relationships advice. And I've been listening to it a lot. And one thing I've learned from listening to callers seeking Dan's advice is that people will do anything to improve their interpersonal relationships? Well, anything except say what they want or how they feel. This is apparently just way too far to go. So people will ring up and tell Dan, who's a complete stranger, in intimate detail exactly what they want from their relationship, in what way they're not getting it, and how sad it makes them. Got it. So imagine if we treated shopping the same way that most people seem to treat their relationships. You go up to the Coles deli and they ask, what do you want? You really want bratwurst, but you just, for whatever reason, you don't feel you can say that. So they give you feta cheese. You hate feta cheese, but you walk away and you're like, well, I guess I got the feta cheese. You come back the next week and the person behind the counter says, hey, how did you like that feta cheese I gave you last week? Well, you hated it, but now you feel bad because you said they could give you whatever you want and they gave you feta cheese. You say, great, yeah, it was great. And they say, what do you want today? Whatever you think is good, and you get feta cheese again. And new ones come in that the person behind the counter thinks will be even better than the last one. So the message that I want straight men to get from this little story about going to the deli is that if you want your female partner to put on a strap-on dildo, I'd like that tape you had then, duct tape, and peg you with it, you're going to have to use your words and ask for it. Very occasionally you'll find a woman who offers it unsolicited, but that's unlikely. So the lesson is, in relationships and at the deli, if you don't ask for the sausage, you're not going to get it.
Tracy for having me! Absolutely amazing. That was only her second time. Give it up for Tracy again! Yes! Only a second time, but I have already learned something about pegging. Use my words. Alright, you are in for a real treat because it's the man who made this night happen himself. He's been flashing us all night, so if he goes over time, feel free to flash him with whatever you got. He's got a great last name. Please give it up for Rowan Grace!
Thank you. Wow, how are you, everybody? Give yourself a dose of self-high five. You deserve it for coming out and playing. Seriously, I want to say thank you so much for coming out for my very first open mic comedy room. So, are you ready for my Razor's Edge comedy? All right, let's kick on with something. You know, we've all been to prison, have we? Thanks to Anastasia Palaszczuk again, giving up the lockdown. Telling us you gotta go back to prison now. You can't go play anymore. You can't go to the Saturday Night Fever. Pick up some pussies. Instead, you gotta go home and watch YouTube. You know what? I've been watching YouTube, during this lockdown, and I discovered this movie, and it's from Jess Franco from Italy. And it's called White Cannibal Queen, aka Cannibals. And I'll tell you what, it's a weird fucking film. It sort of really fucks you up the brain. Especially watching a poor innocent lady getting outnumbered or about to be gangbanged, eaten alive by cannibals. And then you hear this boom, 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 boom. And next thing I know, she screams, ah, ah! And next thing you know, you hear this orgasms, like she's like, sounds like a horny cat having sex. Wow! Boom, 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 boom. Wow! I said, hurry up! Die, lady! Just die like a person in a normal horror fucking film! And still hear this. Boom, 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 boom. Wow! And finally the bitch has died. Thank fucking God. Gosh, you know, do us a favour, trainees, don't watch this film. It's a Jess Franco movie. If you want to see really horror good movie gore, just watch Dawn Dead or Cannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox. At least they're still Italians, but at least they made a fucking good movie. Gee. So I flipped over, saying, what else is on? There's any more tits on YouTube. Oh, I forgot to tell you. There's no tits on YouTube. You're not allowed to have the titties on YouTube. What a fucking bunch of PS. Critical correct. Because the kiddies, little kiddies want to watch it, and next thing you know, they see boobies! Oh, gee. I flipped over, there's still some conspiracy theory bullshit from you know who. I don't want to mention the name, please. Thank you very much. You know who. So I flipped over to my good old mate, Gordon Ramsay. Any Gordon Ramsay fans in the house? Hands up. I know, Gerda. Give thanks to my friend Gerda and John all the way from Caboolture to come and see me perform. Give them a round of applause for coming out too. Like, it's a very tough town, Caboolture, eh? You know, I used to live in Caboolture and I'll tell you what, they're poker addicts. You know, they love their poker. They're sort of like zombie to poker. Next thing you know, they're going poker. Poker. Gosh. Anyway, let's get back to Gordon. Anyway, with Gordon Ramsay, everyone seen the show Hell's Kitchen? Hands up? Oh, great show. I watched the whole fucking 13 episodes they got on. And what amazed me with Gordon Ramsay, he says the 3 Ds. You know what they are? Dick, donut, and donkey. Gosh, we're seeing donkeys around in Caboolture every week. And especially as a friend of mine too. We used to call him the King Donkey. Is that right? Yeah, he's the King Donkey. Anyway, we're not worried about it. But anyway, actually, what's your name, you guys in the front? What's your name? Your 3 names are anyway. What's your name? Mark? Okay, you're going to be my guinea pigs tonight. Yes, you're going to be my guinea pigs. Okay, pretend you're Mark, that right? Yep. Mark? Okay, Mark, you're cooking me a scallops. Ready for Gerda. Gerda's like to have scallops, right? You can bring me. Where's the fucking scallops, Mark? Hurry up! Yep. Oh no. Oi. Come over here, Mark. Come over here. It's fucking raw, you dick! Go back and cook them, you dick! Okay, and what's your name again? Anyway, you just brought us some fish for me. So say with your salmon. Nice, beautiful salmon. Here you go, you brought it to me. And, oh no. It's fucking raw. And I'm thinking about serving it to a pregnant lady. Oi, you, come here. Say this salmon. Boom. It's fucking raw, you donut! Go back in the kitchen, go back to the dorm and eat some raw donut, you donut! And then this guy here, what's your name again? Greg. Greg brought some chicken. Actually, no, I'm gonna make a steak. New York strip. And it looks, oh my gosh, fucking being rare. It's rare. Oi. Come over here, you dirty steak. I asked for medium rare, and you cooked it well fucking done. You donkey, you, fuck off out of the kitchen. and eat them fucking donuts. My name's Ryan Grace. Thank you for coming tonight. I gotta go. We've got 2 maniacs coming up to this show. Thank you. Good night. I hope to see you again.
Ryan Grace, everybody! Wow. Hungry and horny. Still hungry and horny after that? Wow. I'll tell you what, nobody is touching my pussies tonight. Oh, that was amazing. All right, I'm going to bring on your next act. His namesake is supposed to be coming, but I want you to be anything but sedate. So starting from this side, make some noise. Give it up for Liam Daly!
I like it when a girl squirts. Good night, everybody. I win. Unless it's rain. What? I didn't even know what that means. I'm not in touch with women, and that's why I'm single. I don't know. This is one wild gig, don't you reckon, ladies and gentlemen? And give it up again for Rowan Grace, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, obviously, we've got a few fans here tonight as well. Yeah, a couple over here, there, yeah. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. You know, I've got the camo mask. I was going to wear the camo pants, but then no one would have seen me coming. Tried the camo shoes, but they hurt my foot. Gave me a bad case of the camo toe right there. Oh, come on. Frickin' the bar has been set and you're like, it's like this. The barrel of laughs right over here. It's just like, yeah, it just was like, ah! What do you want, quality? This is frickin' free comedy. You get what you're paid for. I give you the finger, but you're used to a fist, so there to you. That's how you get the audience on side, by just abusing the crap out of them. I don't care. Frickin' like 3rd gig of the year, 2021. We're probably going to end up back in lockdown again because, you know, too many people wearing masks. It's the same excuse as to why there's not enough laughs. It's not because I'm not funny. It's because of the masks. You know, it's hard to hear the laughs. You know, see, like right now, it's like dips, nothing, nothing. Am I right, Chloe? Cleo, what frickin' turf? Just dissect. Hey, pretend we don't know each other. Hey, we haven't met like 500 times. Yeah, my name's Liam, by the way, in case you didn't hear before, don't care, but either way, I've got the mic. People think that's short for William. It isn't. It's short for Valium. My mother was a chemist and my father grew up in the 60s. Hence the name, Valium Daily. And you can tell the people that have heard the joke before. And they're like, oh, really? It's like, yeah, check out my birth certificates. Last name is Daly. I get that from my father's side. Mother's last name, believe it or not, is actually Punchard. And she never wanted to get married because if she did, her last name would have legally been known as Mrs. Punchard Daly. There's a conversation happening over this side. I almost want to be a part of it. Have you got some better material for me? I don't know. It's my best joke, it's just not working. Maybe I should do some jokes, and that's where the comedian's like, yeah, we've been telling you to do that for the last 4 years! Bring it on. She's really new to comedy, she already knows. Trust me, it gets worse before it gets better. Best joke of the night is silence. Maybe I should do something different, bring everyone up to speed while I have to call it daily news. What do you guys reckon? What do you guys reckon? Yeah, I'm only asking these two because I've heard from everyone else. I haven't heard from these guys. What the hell? We can work on the acoustics wrong. Jesus Christ, get your stuff together. Here's the daily news, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are aware of the hand sanitizer contains alcohol. Am I right, guys? Yeah. So by drinking straight alcohol, that's how you do your bit to stay immune. Yeah, exactly. Bit of use right there, who knows? Here, there, everywhere. Of course, there was the toilet paper buying panic. People realised that, of course, went down to the shops. Consumers such short supply that people had to resort to saying yes to receipts. Took a few seconds, that's good, that's good. Usually takes a few more seconds, but that's okay, we got her off over there, that's good. Of course then as well, there was actually a couple of couples here, could probably relate, weren't allowed to visit each other with the social distancing, which led to much masturbating. There we go. touching on a sore issue, I don't know. Sore issue. I saw, I don't know. Scatter, allowed to be a little bit of something. Of course, then as well, there was actually an incident overseas, actually not overseas, with international students rather, with international students and landlords clashing over who was going to pay for rent in a court case dubbed Alien versus Creditor. Trust me, it gets worse, I don't care. It's Wednesday night, we're in the hump day of the week, and clearly you guys aren't, that's why you're here. Again, pick on the audience because it's like you're my fan base. What's your name? Don't care. Didn't even know who I was before I got up on stage, and you're like, yep, it's a good idea that I don't. Of course, then as well, there was actually incidents, global pandemic, where people are actually drawing penises around potholes in roads. This had counsellors coming immediately to fill them willy-nilly. Several councils are now organising projects which will help stimulate the economy, thus proving that it truly takes a dick to fill an open hole. Wow, got the clap from the gather, who'd have thought? Oh! It's not even test season. Actually it is, isn't it? Get yourself tested, go to the test, get your tests. Test the testes, I don't know. What am I doing? How long have I got by the way?
2 more minutes to go.
2 minutes, Jesus Christ, I'll just be burning with crowd work. Piss off, get out of here, you're ruining my career. Audiences are ruining my career by this. What was I up to? You can do my set. You're like, no, no, I want that. I don't want it either, jeez. Oh, I love that motivation. Put it there, guys, put it there. I mean, it's probably the closest we'll get to fist, but hey, the night is young. Let's finish off with some clean humour, by the way. A woman was arrested at an airport for having a bag of methamphetamine tied in a bow in her hair. Police were tipped off after she was overheard saying, "My hair is a complete meth this morning." Tell the druggies over there. Get the gear from them, right? Not just talking about your hat. Oh. Feet off the damn stool. Come on, this isn't your house. I'm like a mother bear here. Another man was arrested for possession of marijuana after calling police on himself. Maybe it was you, I don't know. Wait, when police came to arrest him instead, he couldn't believe his pot luck. I'm going to need another minute if it's all right. He's taking my time. It's my time and my comedy career. Take you to all my gigs. You'll love this next bit, I'm sure. If not, I quit comedy. It's 1 minute, right? Originally, you came out to the public and made a statement. I wasn't going to file a report, but then I got high. I would have given it a second thought, but I got high. Now they're taking the rest of my stash, and I know why.
Why? Why?
Because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. And if this next bit doesn't get the clap, I quit comedy forever. Victoria Beckham, also known as Posh Spice, actually sued VB Skincare, based in Sydney, for the use of initials VB. It truly made Victoria better. That's great, but that's only half the bit. In a public statement, her legal team came out and said, in response to claims she was simply taking the piss, "You can't use it to advertise. You can't use it to plagiarise. You can't use it any old how. Matter of fact, there's worse now." Well, good, I already got the clap from you guys, so my career stays. Screw you guys. By the way, in case you didn't notice, my name is Liam. I'll see you guys next time, and if you want to see more comedy, come out and come back here, of course, and show your support. I've also do a gig on Sunday at Ashgrove, at the Junk Bar, and in plenty other places. Free plugging of the show. Better get off before Freaking Rowan crash tackles me off the stage. See you guys next time.
Liam Daly, everybody! Woo, give him the clap, we're all so quick comedy! Yeah. Thank you very much for complimenting my squirting skills, Liam.
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm trying to stay COVID safe here. I am immunocompromised, so the alternative, instead of doing the old squirt gimmick, was to clean down the mic after every set, and I don't want any of you to know that I'm really shit at giving hand jobs. Because otherwise you would have seen this. So the squirt it is! I have absolutely no idea how to segue into introducing your next act, but are you ready for your headliner tonight? Oh, come on. Been more than that. Hey, you guys aren't paying attention. Are you ready for your headliner tonight? He's one of my favorites. I don't know if he's the good boy of bad boys or the bad boy of good boys. Please give it up for Ashwin
Hey, round of applause for Grace for hosting this night tonight. That's good. Just leave that there. Are you guys like parents or? Like, I mean, like one polyamorous unit that raises a single child? That'd be weird. Hello? Don't have anything. That's not a first date that you guys were on, is it? Second, is it? Because it's weird to date someone over a barrel by the first time. Second time is fine. It's good. This is quite a, we're talking about privilege before, it's quite a privileged blackboard. Because only a white teacher would be able to fit their name on it. Mr. Fox or something racist. My parents out. I was babysitting my nephew recently, and like my brother had one instruction. He said, "Can you just watch religious movies? Because there's no bad language." So we're watching The Exorcist. Don't do that. This is a bit antisocial between us. I have to get out the way. You guys ever done anything kinky with each other? Not the same time with other people. Like some oil tanker-based kinky shit. Because I was actually dating this woman recently, and she loved educating me about women's issues while whipping me. Yeah, she called herself a feminist dominatrix. But I'm a Brown Lives Matter submissive. So she was like, men have been robbing women for centuries, using unpaid childcare and free domestic labour. And I was like, white women benefited from the looting of over $70 trillion stolen from their colonies, used to enrich them and their men. And then we couldn't figure out who the naughty one was. Luckily, a white guy came in and explained it, so... We're fine. Anyone from the country? Yep. Country people? Oh, yes, yeah. Colette, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can verify this, but I've noticed that country people often look down on city people. But at least we created a respectable method of conflict resolution. Well, like if your neighbourhood has beef with another neighbourhood, you can sort out your differences using rap battles and crumping. Imagine if we had to sort out our differences using line dancing. Oh, you killed my cousin, did you? Well, I'm going to have to mess you up. Yeah, once I've spun my partner to and fro. It's just not scary, is what I'm saying. All right, you're all from the country, yeah? Is that what that means? But you know, multiculturalism is actually going really well. It was going well in the 90s. Like people had stopped stereotyping each other. We're all starting to get along together. And then 9/11 happened. And after that, half the Western world was like, nah. We'll put up with bad driving, but not at that height. I never joined a gang when I was young. Like, not that I didn't want to. It's just that to be initiated into a gang, you got to bash someone. I'm not big enough to bash someone. And plus, a lot of Indian and Asian parents, like, they make their kids focus on their studies when they're young, to the point where in America, if you're not Asian, you can get into Harvard, Stanford, Yale with lower marks. So Asians should be allowed to join the Bloods and the Crips without doing as much. Like, maybe instead of bashing someone, we just got to lower their self-esteem. Like, hey man, you see the way your hand shakes as you're about to shoot me? That's a stress response from when your dad abandoned you. And then we're in. Anyone got a weird job? What's the weirdest job at that table? Oh, all pretty unemployed. What's regular? What do you do? Is it Lauren? Nora, sorry. What do you do, Nora? That's not regular. How many fucking people do you think are investigators? Oh, is this like some investigator conference that I've been to? Like, everyone already knows my jokes already because you've checked my WhatsApp. You've decrypted it. Okay. What's the most weirdest thing you've found by investigating? You're not allowed to say. Okay, it's like police investigation, not like shitty, like a golfing course that needs to find out who dropped the balls in the water. It's actual investigations. Okay, I'm gonna have to delete 3 of the next 5 jokes. So just assume they worked. That's a good job. That's not normal at all. That's why I see where you were covering that up. But like, okay, there's a weird, like the first anaesthetists must have had a weird time explaining their job as we're all sitting around in the Ice Age talking about what work skills we have to offer. And one person's like, oh, you know, I can carve wood, build us a boat. And others like, oh, I can till the soil, grow us food. And one's like, oh, I can knock people out so we can do what we want to them. Oh, that's a bit weird, Barry. Why'd you learn to do that? Strong as an ox, stubborn as a mule. Australian animals never get included in the world sayings. No one says, oh man, that guy, he's a platypus in the bedroom. No one says that. Oh, okay, you do say that. Sorry, I just heard a noise back there. Sorry, now I'm an investigator, aren't I? Like, what's that noise? Is that what you mainly do? Just hear noises and go, what's that noise? All right, I've let that one too long. Let's just go back to my world. I don't understand why some countries have oil and others don't. Because dinosaurs were everywhere. But when they got old, did they all just move to Saudi Arabia? Like that was their Harvey Bay? All right, let's talk about Jesus for a little while. Brought paper with me, it'd be weird not to. Yeah, now, if you're not familiar, let me make sure you guys can see it as well on your second barrel date. Don't want to mess that up. Now, if you're not familiar, Jesus lived about 2,000 years ago in ancient Sweden. Does the investigator community believe that Jesus existed? Okay, you're not going to give me anything. Sure, Jesus isn't classified. All right. He's what? He's a terrorist. Them's fighting words in Rockhampton. Yeah, that person was from. Yeah, no, he did. He was a rabble rouser for sure, wasn't he? Are you a Hindu?
He intercepts terrorists.
Oh, you're an investigator too. Air Force. Oh, okay. Import. All right. So like, yeah, you are the worst wingman ever, Chloe. You're like the Nicola Gobbo of partners. Like just. Oh, the investigators knew what I was talking about. But anyway, now look, I lived in Malaysia when I was 15, which is a Muslim country, and so this is how Jesus is depicted over there. Yeah. But the real Jesus looked like this, which is also an artist's impression of me after a 6 a.m. arrest. Yeah. It's really fun. I hear the things people whisper, and I was like, should I say that out loud again or not? Because Cleo was like, it could also be a black Tom Jones, and I was like, so now I'm going to have to use that. But we left India when I was 1 year old, right? And Mum was like, okay, we've got to fit into this country. So she said, look, let's use the school fancy dress party. Okay, so she dressed me up, right? And we were aiming at pirate, but we accidentally ended up at Taliban warlord. I mean, that's an unnecessarily bloody knife, isn't it? Like, in hindsight, this was another child. Just make sure you update your records. Now, the Indian holy book, now you're our religious expert. What's the Indian holy book called? The Hindu holy book. Oh, you just hate the Christians. It's a one-sided religious block. Okay, it's called the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, got some Gita fans out there. Oh, that was the MILF. Imagine with your two powers being a MILF and Hindu theology. What the fuck is that combination on Tinder? I don't know. That's hot though. That's hot. Yeah, so what's happening here in the Gita is Lord Krishna is explaining the spiritual principles of the universe to Arjuna while taking him everywhere in the chariot, just going everywhere in the chariot. So the fundamental spiritual story of India is the story of a taxi driver. You can't make this stuff up. Now, people sometimes ask me if reincarnation's real. Is reincarnation real? Look, this is India's most famous wrestler. Yeah. The Great Gama. Died in 1965. Born in 1966. Was Merv Hughes. So, case closed on that one. The earliest forms of life emerged, or life really emerged when the earliest molecules in the ocean were continuously bombarded by lightning. And we spent the first 1,000 years of our life getting tased. How can if DNA could paint, we would have drawn God as a cop. I should have tested these jokes out before I said them in my lecture. It's too late now, we're in. We're inside this bit. All government departments have been told that they need to be more energy efficient. So I reckon every time a cop tases someone, we should hook the victim up to a street lamp so we don't waste charge. If enough of us resist arrest, we could cut fossil fuel use to zero. So. Now, one of the reasons COVID spread is because we use private security guards instead of government security officials. And we would never do that anywhere else. We'll never do that imagine if we tried that at the airport. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't come into Australia, you don't have a collar. Okay, that's definitely getting cut, isn't it? My partner was saying we need to be more open about what we want with each other in the bedroom. So now we've got a PlayStation. When you're at the supermarket, at the self-service checkout, and everything's scanning normally until you put a capsicum in that the bag doesn't notice, until it flips out at the weight of the ensuing Manuka honey. And it's like, this thing weighs like a capsicum plus a Manuka honey. All right, that's also getting cut. But we've been in lockdown for 9 months. What do you expect me to be doing? Like going on barrel dates? No, I had to write stuff, test it. A lot of Western people go to like Phuket to learn Muay Thai, to learn how to leg kick. While I don't even go to Manchester to learn how to headbutt. That's racism. I think it's because like Muay Thai is blended with Buddhism, and so it's quite spiritual. Whereas no one in Manchester is like, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Are you looking at me? Fucking hell, no. So it's different. Yeah. How long have I got, Rowan?
It's got 2 minute warning.
2 minutes. Warning sounds ominous. Just 2 minutes would have been fine. What happens? Is this like suck me up into a shark tank?
I think if the owners want to make sure we wrap it up on time.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. All right, now it's a 90-second warning after that. I like it. Sometimes my Aussie friends will say to me, I could never go to India. I don't want to get Delhi belly. But Australia's got a drinking problem. Sometimes my Indian friends say, I could never go to Australia. I don't want to get Sydney kidney. I don't want to get Brisbane River liver. I don't want to get a Perth defect. I don't want to go out, have unprotected sex, and end up with Adelaide's. Don't want that. Okay, I have to finish on this. In India they have these tantric yogis, and tantric yogis will sit by the river Ganges, and they'll eat a piece of corpse after the body's been burned. And then they'll eat a piece of fruit and try to feel exactly the same way about both things. And then they'll lie down on hot coals and freezing snow and try to feel exactly the same way about both things. Because the point of Tantra is to become absolutely indifferent. I mean, the word Tantra actually comes from the word Telstra. All right. That's my time. There's a little bit of a mild way to end, but I did not want to get flashed. In fact, the flashlight wouldn't even show up on me because of my... Anyway, so I gotta get off. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
I heard he's a bit of a platypus in the bedroom. As in, I've never seen him. But he's probably there. I don't know, it's been a long night. Have you guys had fun? Yeah. Oh, this has been the first Laughamania. Do you guys want to come back? Yes. Fuck yeah. Keep an eye on social media. Just want to give a big thank you to Kevin for having us. And